The crystal ball. In the south of Spain, there was a small village whose people were very joyful. The children played under the shades of trees in the gardens of their homes. A shepherd boy named Nasser stayed near the village with his father, mother, and grandmother. Each morning, he took his herd of goats up the hills to find a suitable place for them to graze. In the afternoon, he would return with them to the village. Each night, his grandmother would tell him a story. The story of stars. This story really interested Nasser. On one of those days, as Nasser was watching his herd and playing his flute, he suddenly saw a wonderful light behind a flower bush. When he approached the bush, he saw a transparent and very beautiful crystal ball. The crystal ball was glittering like a colorful rainbow. Nasser carefully took it in his hand and turned it around. With surprise, suddenly he heard a weak voice coming from the crystal ball. It said, "You can make a wish that your heart desires, and I will fulfill it." Nasser could not believe that he had actually heard a voice. When he made sure that he had indeed heard that voice from the crystal ball, he was very confused. He had so many wishes that he could not decide upon one particular wish. He said to himself, "If I wait till tomorrow, I will remember many things. Then I will make my wish." He put the crystal ball in a bag and, gathering the herd, happily returned to the village. He decided that he would not tell anyone about the crystal ball. On the following day also, Nasser could not decide what to wish for because he really had everything he needed. The days passed as usual, but Nasser was still unable to make his wish. But he appeared to be very cheerful. The people around him were amazed to see the change in the disposition. One day, a boy followed Nasser and his herd and hid behind a tree. Nasser, as usual, sat in one corner, took out the crystal ball, and for a few moments looked at it. The boy waited for the moment when Nasser would go to sleep. When Nasser did fall asleep after a while, the boy took the crystal ball and ran away. When he arrived at the village, he called all the people and showed them the crystal ball. The citizens of that village took the crystal ball in their hands and turned it around with surprise. Suddenly, they heard a voice from inside the crystal ball, which said, "I can fulfill your wish." One person took the ball and screamed, "I want one bag full of gold." Another took the ball and said loudly, "I want 2 chests full of jewelry." Some of them wished that they would have their own place with a grand door made from pure gold, instead of their old houses. Some others wished for bags full of jewelry. All their wishes were fulfilled, but still the citizens of the village were not happy. They were jealous because the person that had a palace had no gold and the person that had the gold had no palace. For this reason, the citizens of the village were angry with each other and stopped speaking to each other. Gardens in the village where children used to play were no more. There were palaces and gold everywhere. The children became terribly unhappy. Only Nasser and his family were happy and contented. Every morning and afternoon he would play the flute. One day the children of the village took the crystal ball to Nasser. The children said to Nasser, "When we had a small village, we all were happy and joyful." The parents also spoke. They said, "In one way or another, all of us are unhappy. The luxurious palaces and jewelry only bring us pain." When Nasser saw that the people were really regretful, he said, "Even though the crystal ball asked me to wish for something, I have not done it so far. But if you really want everything to return to its own place, then I will wish for it." Everyone happily agreed. Nasser took the crystal ball in his hand, turned it around, and wished that the village would become the same as it was before. In a moment, the palaces disappeared, the green gardens appeared, and the same old village full of trees was there. Once again, the people started to live happily and the children played under the shade of trees. Nasser continued his contented life every day, playing his flute at sunset. Its sweet sound was heard throughout the beautiful green village. Moral: we should be happy with whatever we have and not be greedy. The Hare and the Tortoise. There once was a speedy hare who bragged about how fast he could run. Tired of hearing him boast, the tortoise challenged him to a race. All the animals in the forest gathered to watch. The hare ran down the road for a while and then paused to rest. He looked back at the tortoise and cried out, "How do you expect to win this race when you are walking along at your slow pace?" The hare stretched himself out alongside the road and fell asleep, thinking, "There is plenty of time to relax." The hare and the tortoise. Story: the tortoise walked and walked, never ever stopping until he came to the finish line. The animals who were watching cheered so loudly for Tortoise that they woke up the hare. The hare stretched, yawned, and began to run again. But it was too late. Tortoise had already crossed the finish line. Moral: slow and steady wins the race. This is the story that we have all grown up with. But recently, two additions have been proposed to the story. Addition number 1. After being defeated by the tortoise, the hare did some soul searching. He knew that though he had tried hard in the beginning, he was not consistent and had grown overconfident. He was determined to undo his mistakes and invited Tortoise for another race. This time, the rabbit was careful to run the whole distance and, of course, emerged the winner. Moral: fast and consistent may be better than slow and steady. Addition number 2. Well, after emerging the loser in the second race, the tortoise thought long and hard. He knew that in any traditional terrain, the hare would win if he was fast and consistent. Therefore, he thought of a non-traditional terrain for the race. Then he invited the rabbit for another race. This time the rabbit laughed out loud, thinking that the tortoise was out of his head. But the tortoise insisted that there should be another race and the terrain would be decided by the tortoise. The rabbit agreed to the idea. The race began. The rabbit was leading in front, with the tortoise far back trundling along. Around halfway through the race, they came across a river. The rabbit halted on the bank of the river, wondering how to cross the river. Meanwhile, the tortoise approached the river slowly, got into the water, swam across, climbed up on the other bank, ran the last few kilometers, and won the race. Moral: when your capabilities are below par, choose a playing ground that gives you a natural advantage. The greedy mouse. A greedy mouse saw a basket full of corn. He wanted to eat it, so he made a small hole in the basket. He squeezed it through the hole. He ate a lot of corn. He felt full and was very happy. Now he wanted to come out. He tried to come out through the small hole. He could not. His belly was full. He tried again, but it was of no use. The mouse started crying. A rabbit was passing by. It heard the mouse's cry and asked, "Why are you crying, my friend?" The mouse explained, "I made a small hole and came into the basket to eat the corn. Now, I am not able to get out through that hole." The rabbit said, "It is because you ate too much. Wait till your belly shrinks." The rabbit laughed and went away. Short stories. Greedy mouse. The mouse fell asleep in the basket. The next morning, his belly had shrunk, but he wanted to eat some more corn. He forgot all about getting out of the basket, so he ate the corn and his belly was really big again. After eating, the mouse remembered that he had to escape, but obviously he could not, so he thought, "Oh, now I will go out tomorrow." The cat was the next passerby. He smelled the mouse in the basket. He lifted its lid and ate the mouse. Hard work and smart work. Mukesh and Anil joined a company together a few months after their graduation from university. After a few years of work, their manager promoted Mukesh to a position of senior sales manager. But Anil remained in his entry-level junior sales officer position. Anil developed a sense of jealousy, disgruntlement, but continued working anyway. One day, Anil felt that he could not work with Mukesh anymore. He wrote his resignation letter, but before he submitted to the manager, he complained that management did not value hardworking staff, but only promoted only the favored. The manager knew that Anil worked very hard for the years he had spent at the company, even harder than Mukesh, and therefore he deserved the promotion. So, in order to help Anil to realize this, the manager gave Anil a task: go and find out if anyone is selling watermelons in town. Anil returned and said, "Yes, there is someone." The manager asked, "How much per kg?" Anil drove back to town to ask and then returned to inform the manager. They are 13.50 per kg. The manager told Anil, "I will give Mukesh the same task that I gave you. Please pay close attention to his response." So the manager said to Mukesh in the presence of Anil, "Go and find out if anyone is selling water
melons in town. Mukesh went to find out, and on his return, he said, "Manager, there is only one person selling watermelons in the whole town. The cost is Rs 49 each watermelon and Rs 32.50 for a half melon. He sells them at 13.50 per kg when sliced. He has in his stock 93 melons, each one weighing about 7 kg. He has a farm and can supply us with melons for the next 4 months at a rate of 102 melons per day at 27 per melon. This includes delivery. The melons appear fresh and red with good quality, and they taste better than the ones we sold last year. He has his own slicing machine and is willing to slice for us free of charge. We need to strike a deal with him before 10 a.m. tomorrow, and we will be sure of beating last year's profits in melons Rs 223000.00. This will contribute positively to our overall performance, as it will add a minimum of 3.78% to our current overall sales target. I have put this information down in writing and is available on spreadsheet. Please let me know if you need it, as I can send it to you in 15 minutes. Anil was very impressed and realized the difference between himself and Mukesh. He decided not to resign but to learn from Mukesh. As we begin this fresh year, let this story help us keep in mind the importance of going an extra mile in all our endeavors. You won't be rewarded for doing what you are meant to do. You only get a salary for that. You are only rewarded for going an extra mile, performing beyond expectations. Thanks for watching. If you are new here, kindly subscribe this channel.